Okay, welcome to video 3, the third and final one before the launch of LeadsFlow Pro tomorrow. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, guys, some of the stuff I'm going to do today is incredible, but I am so excited about tomorrow's launch. I have launched a lot of software over the years. We've done many launches, and each one has been great in their own right. But I'll be honest, this one is the one that's excited me the most because it's the most powerful platform we have ever created. And some of the things we're doing with this literally are transformative for our business. I can't wait for you to get your hands on this and use this in your business as well. So anyway, I am going to show you some very cool techniques. Again, little extra things that you can do with the LeadsFlow Pro to accelerate your success. I'm going to show you several things. I'm going to show you how you can create a simple free guide download and how you can streamline everything there. I'm going to show you how you can automate list building, and I'm going to show you some of the cool things that are some of the extras, the extra options and add-ons that are going to be available, and it's going to blow you away. We got some really cool stuff here. So, okay, first off, let's start with one of the most common applications for lead generation is, hey, give me a free gift in exchange for my email. Okay, so you've got a free guide, checklist, cheat sheet, whatever, maybe a free video and everything else. Okay, great. That's the first point of contact for a lot of people. In fact, most people out there will be doing this with some sort of lead magnet. Okay, so let's simplify this. What happens usually is people end up on an autoresponder, and that's it. It's connect up your autoresponder and then hope for the best. What happens? You get to a thank you page or a confirmation email. Then they have to click on that confirmation email, and then they move on, and you hope they click the next link. And every extra step that you give your prospect, you lose customers. That's it, because people are inherently lazy. They don't like to go through many hoops, and unfortunately, a lot of systems force them into that process. To heck with that. That is a waste of time. It's a waste of your time and profits. Okay, so here's how we do it with the LeadsFlow. I've created an external LeadsFlow. I've called it Download Free Guide for whatever this may be. Again, we've created just a simple flow. We're using a custom URL to make it a little prettier. Now, again, I always say this. I put this in a subfolder core, but you can do whatever you like. If it was just imsego/free download, that would be cool. Now, this is a link that we can then use in any of our emails. It gives us the short link and everything else, the cool coded link. Or if we go to the flow start element, we can have a fallback, which then goes to a URL, which could be a squeeze page. Now, here's the thing. If you just had the link to imsego/free download, you could then put that on Twitter and Facebook. And then by not having this information, it sends them to a squeeze page automatically. So this is kind of like a link cloaker at the same time as handling your flows. So if I had something like, say, http leadsflowpro.com/training, that would then send them to a squeeze page. Boom. It's a 2-for-1 deal with LeadFlow. But we also set a cookie and everything else. Now, here's the cool thing. If they come through this flow, we can then tag them in the database. We're just going to get email and first name. And then we can tag them with whatever we like. In this case, we'll do lead generation. I already have a tag. It's found one, so boom, done. And then I can add them to whichever list I want. In this case, maybe I've got one here. I think I've got one at the bottom. As you can see, I've got lots and lots of lists. Actually, let's refresh this list. So it takes just a second. Okay. And there we go. There's one there, LeadsFlow Pro Training. And I can get the email and name. That's great. I can set up a webinar jam session. So you can see this here. And I'm going to say, okay, that's been refreshed. And LFP case study. Boom. Done. And I don't have a phone number. I'm not worried about that. So we'll just have the name and email. That's cool. And then I can send myself a little text message. So I'll just refresh this because I just assigned some new numbers. Okay. And that's cool. Okay, awesome. And then I can say, hey, you're welcome aboard. Check your email. We've sent you something very cool. And then here's the cool thing. I can say, hey, actually go down because I scrolled past it. Email, here's your free download. And then I can say, hey, name, and I can have the visual editor, and I can say, here's your whatever it is, and deliver that immediately. I'm not waiting on confirmation from email providers. By the way, if you're using Aweber, quick hack, if you ask them, if you're submitting via API, ask them to just open up a live chat request, ask them to unlock all of your Aweber lists from double opt-in for API submission. If you do that, they won't have to go through that extra step of clicking on a link and verifying. Great little hack there. We do that with all of our lists, by the way, every time we add one. So then this one is sending a push notice. I was going to add them to a free membership, but we'll skip that for now. But here's the cool thing. This now configures to my phone. Actually, I set up another one yesterday. You just get your user key and put in a subject, hey, this person just joined, and then I can get a notification on my cell phone, which I don't have here. I'll show you one, but I've got this working with different flows, and I can get desktop notification letting me know I've got a new lead or a new sale or what have you. It's fantastic. It lets you know that things are really happening in your business, or I can get desktop notifications and everything else. So I can set all of that up, and everything is now nurturing and starting to build on that list. Now that's very, very cool. And that's one of the most common applications, but it serves many purposes. You're not forcing customers to go through, oh, here you signed up for my Aweber. Okay, great. Now sign up for the webinar. Okay, great. Now sign up for this. And it's just terrible. We do it all at once. Boom, done. Simple as that. Now, let's do something really cool. Let's automate lead building across the board. Now, this is one of the elite features. Now, the elite pack is a very special, it's a limited one-time offer that's going to be after your initial sale. This is going to activate some really cool features, ninja features that will take it to the next level, and your marketing too. So one of the ones we have is what's called Form Catcher. I'm going to show you this. This is very, very cool. It allows you to automatically capture leads on any website. Okay, so let's just call this Auto Capture Demo. So we're going to click Auto or Form Capture. And what this does in a nutshell is it's a little piece of code that can either sit on the site where LeadsFlow Pro is installed or remotely. And what it does is it silently listens for any form submission, any website comment, any registration, any contact form being filled, any application, anything with an email field or a lead automatically gets fed into your system. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is not only unheard of, it's absolutely awesome. And you don't have to install any funky software. You don't have to, it supports any website, including Shopify, Volution, static HTML, Joomla, Drupal, any system at all. Anywhere where you can place a tracking code and it has an email form that can be listened to, and you're allowed to insert, add JavaScript, everything else. So here's how it works. So we've got a form catcher form type. Now, at the beginning, you have a flow start and local subscriber database. You don't have an end flow component because this is silently happening in the background. There's nothing to redirect to. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add Aweber, and maybe we'll add a webinar as well, just for the fun of it. Okay, so I can then sit them on one of my lists. Great, name and email, perfect. And it will look to create that because it's quite likely that there's going to be an email or a name. We'll we'll leave that as it is. We might also have first name and everything else. Now here's a little trick. Because those are quite likely the most common fields you will have, okay, you can actually stack them. So for example, name and first name. Now, you might get one, you might get the other, but you're not going to get both. So stacking that allows us to target and create that. And the same over here. That's a little kind of extra hack I'll give you. And boom, done. And then if I'm done with that, how do we actually do it? Now I could create anything, like I could create a new pushover notice. I could send SMS messages if I'm getting a phone number and anything else, and say, hey, great, great to connect and everything else. What's happening? Imagine this as a nurturing thing. If they filled in a contact form and you really appreciate them, you want to thank them. Say, hey, great to connect. We'll reach out soon. Hey, we saw that you did this. We'll reach out soon. Or hey, wanted to just touch base on a personal level. Boom. You are nurturing, creating that relationship. And hot relationship, when you warm up a prospect, they are 25 times more likely to purchase or take action. So what we're doing is we're nurturing that relationship. We're creating that relationship right from the start. Now, we should also tag the information here. So we'll do the same thing and we'll tag them in the database. I'll just say LFP. So, okay, done. So we know where they're coming from, where this is going to be. And what happens is when you set up your install, you do this. Now I'm going to come back up here and expand this. And you can see local form on this website. And here's the cool thing. If you're doing it on your local website, like where LeadsFlow Pro is installed, you can actually look for a CSS element in your form. Now this is a little technical, but most forms have some sort of ID, like a CSS, and then it can listen just to those forms. So it could be like comment, and that way I know this form is listening for comment forms, and I can then have something targeted to thank them for, hey, just something to comment. Great to connect. Thank you so much for engaging with us. We love you, and all the rest of it. Or if I'm doing one for a contact or something like that, so you can target specific forms. Now, if you'd like just to have a blanket capture of every form, don't have a selector, and it'll listen to everything. But if you want to put it on a remote site, do this, remote form, and then you just grab this, copy, and you paste it into your other site, just like you would a Facebook pixel or a Google Analytics tracking code or anything like that. Just copy and paste, and this works 100% silently in the background. How freaking cool is that? And I mean, I tell you right now, this is one little technique we used. We generated over 10,000 leads from one of our websites in under 30 days and turned that into $30,000 in raw profits. That's how powerful this is. Now, this is an elite feature. Like I said, this is after your initial purchase, you'll be offered a package of really cool extras. This is one of them. Another one is we'll add more licenses, and we also have Zapier integration. Now, Zapier is a service provider that allows us, and this is something we do, we supercharge Zapier. Now, Zapier is a paid service, but it allows you to connect 500 services all over the world. And guess what? We're one of them. I'm going to show you this real quick. So with Zapier, what you can do is you can feed it the information that you've got, okay? So like name, first name, and everything else. Maybe if we're collecting phone number. But what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Zapier. And just go over to the dashboard. So what we can do is we can go ahead and make a zap. And we'll just say that we're going to do LeadsFlow Pro. And we're going to integrate this. And it'll say, hey, we want to do this. We have to set up a webhook. Grab that. We come back over here. We paste that in here. Actually, I'm on the Mac, so I'm using the wrong. I'm not using control, I'm using command and copy. We send a test zap, so we send some basic test information, and we continue. What happens is this now wants to, you can skip this part, but we continue there. And then we just want to say, make sure you've sent a test zap. It goes and checks. This should go green, meaning that we've got data being passed. It takes a second. Boom. Test successful. Mission complete. And what we should do is, I should also add a phone number, because for the demo I'm about to do. Okay, so we'll come up here and just say that we're collecting phone. Okay, so we'll leave that and update that real quick. Now what I want to do is we're going to send another, let me send another test zap. And retest. I just want to make sure we got that phone passed across. So this is how you can adjust your flows on the fly. Well, actually, I have to press OK. That would help. OK, continue. Now, what do we want to do? Well, let's say I wanted to integrate call loop. Now, we actually can do this directly, but I'm just showing this as an example. So I just found out that call loop is experiencing technical difficulties, and if I read that at the top, I would have seen that. So we're going to add a different option instead. So we could send it to any other service that is connected out of the hundreds. So I could click show all, and these are the ones I've just got connected right now. But say, for example, I wanted to add them to a Google Sheet. Just wanted it on an Excel file. I know where my leads are, and I've got a secondary backup, for example. So we could create a spreadsheet row, and let's just do that. And it'll ask, okay, which one do I want to connect it to? Spreadsheet, and we can say, okay, I've got lots of them apparently, so we'll just use our EZP import worksheet, sheet 1, and it's thinking about it, first name, and then you click on here, and it's loading up the names from the app. So we can then select from here, what have we got? First name, email, new flow action. Sorry, actually we need the email. So we can create, and obviously depending on our sheet and what we got set up, there's the email, last name, and then we've got that last name there. And then we could update a new field and everything else, depending on what we've set up in our sheet. But continue, done. And it's simple as that. Now, let's remove the call loop from that. So I'll really delete it. And then I could set up a couple of extra things if I want to with that lead. I could, for example, send them up to a meetup because we're going to create an event. I could coordinate it with my coach, some of my other CRMs and coaching handling, sending up other like ticketed events. I can integrate with different platforms that are out there, any call loop or autoresponder systems that I might want that are random and out there. With 500 services, the options are limitless, and again, it's all now powered by LeadsFlow Pro. So what else do you get? Well, you also get some geeky stuff. You can do custom PHP. You can do some SQL statements and queries and some other cool kind of nerdy stuff if you want to kind of spin your propeller like I do. A little nerd out session, but that allows you to do pretty much anything you can imagine. And again, all of that is available as part of the Elite package, plus a couple of extras which I can't mention, which will make it absolutely outstanding. We'll call it the Triangle of Awesomeness, and it will solve all of your problems. But I can't mention that right now, so you're going to have to wait and see until you get LeadsFlow Pro. So, with that being said, what about e-commerce? Now, we've touched on this briefly. You can create, like I said, use this to collect leads and everything else, but you can also do something very cool. So I'm going to save this one first of all, and then I'm going to add a new one. So we'll just open that up in a new tab. That takes just a second. So what we're going to do now is we're going to integrate e-commerce. And you can do this with Shopify, Volution, 3D Cart, BigCommerce, all the big boys that we support. And this one is depending on your cart system, and you might have to kind of figure out what your system does. Let's do Shopify, because that's one of the ones we do. We're going to choose e-commerce flow. And I haven't even talked about in these videos, we've barely scratched the surface of what this can do. I haven't talked about the opt-in builder that we have, a drag and drop opt-in builder, some of the other features and settings in here, split test we haven't gone into in a lot of depth. Like I said, this is very, very powerful. And okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to use script. Now, here's the thing. If you're using what I call a good cart system, you can directly ping a URL. So you can create your system to say, okay, like email, name, and then the price and the product ID. And you can set all of those up over here, what you want. So we could have email, and actually I just reloaded that, so hold on 1 second. It's going to reload real quick. Okay. So we can say, okay, what do we get? We want the email, first name, and I did it again. I've got to stop hitting enter because that submits the current flow. Okay. So we'll try that once more from the top. So first name, last name, phone, and product ID, and whatever we want. We can set them to our different variables, like requirements, whether it must have that, whether it's an email validation, not empty. We want to make sure we get all of these items from whatever our e-commerce provider will provide. And then you can build up your little query string based on that. But we're going to use one of the cool features in here. We'll do this. Okay, so what happens is you get a little piece of copy and paste JavaScript. Now, with Shopify, for example, they have an entire, and we have some great training on Shopify specifically, but they have specific fields that they will give you that you could then use in tracking code. You'll have to speak to them or your e-commerce provider to see what they actually have as tags for tracking codes. So in this case, for example, we could have price equals 33, data, email equals, and whatever that actually is with your e-commerce provider. I think with Shopify, it's that, for example. So it takes a little bit because you have to kind of build it based on whatever their systems are. Because sometimes, let's face it, e-commerce systems can be a little funky. So we can, tweak that around, and you can build it up with name, first name, and everything else. And you just take this for whatever the different things are you want. So it could be data, phone, data, first name, data, last name. Pretty simple, but again, you've got to work with what these e-commerce providers give you. If they make your life easy, then you just have a simple one-liner like that says ping this URL. For example, Entreport, Samcart, Infusionsoft gives you these functionalities. I think 3D Cart, BigCommerce, and Volution do as well. And it's just a simple get string, boom. And you put first name equals X, whatever their things are. You put that in, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and then you can, again, add all the different services you want to connect them to. So Aweber, maybe, or GetResponse, or whatever your system is. You can also then track through here. And we've got a couple of custom ones. If you have JVZoo, we can interface with them as we do and track all of your affiliate and vendor sales. WooCommerce, if you're using WooCommerce is set up on the same site as LeadsFlow Pro, we can pull all your orders automatically. That's cool. And then integrate everyone with everything you do. And then you've got the universal one, which is the one we're using right here for all these other services. And then default price field, because we track that. That becomes part of your lifetime customer value, the ability to understand your customers. And then you can set whether you want, if they come through this, like it's the last part of the checkout process, you can auto-detect return type or redirect to a URL, depending on how you want to do it. Now, again, we've got some great e-commerce training in the members area, but you can see just how powerful that is. So what have we done today? Automatic list building, lead magnet delivery systems, how to add 500 extra services, and showing you how to integrate this with e-commerce. All drag and drop simple, very powerful, and we open the doors tomorrow at 11 a.m. EST. So I hope you've enjoyed these videos or the extra training. Maybe you've seen some of the stuff we've been doing live streaming on Facebook and everything else. I hope you've downloaded and watched the other videos in this series. We'll include links to them below here. And that you've downloaded your 100 ways to growth hack your lead generation. A ton of great stuff. I hope you've enjoyed and learned a lot. And I really hope that you will check out LeadsFlow Pro when it opens tomorrow. Just go to leadsflowpro.com at 11 a.m. The doors open for a limited time. I want you to be part of this. You've seen the power and how this can transform your business. It's transformed ours. It's now powering most of our 7-figure and 8-figure businesses. It's helping people all over the world. I wanted to help you as well and transform and automate, streamline, and give you the freedom lifestyle business that you've dreamed of. So, I'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Doors open. Be there.